After the war, the number of kills officially credited to Rapier will be argued over for years and never finally resolved. The claims and counterclaims as to the numbers of enemy aircraft destroyed by the system vary from as high as 22 as low as 2. We stand by our kills at S for sure. Bob communicated them to the battery headquarters, and the rest of the lads, plus those Royal Marines, were in no doubt. We just destroyed 2 RG planes, the only ones I would personally shoot down in the conflict, but 3-2 Alpha wasn't finished just yet. I hope the pilots got out alive. I don't want to have killed anyone, but I don't know whether they did. The Skyhawk pilot must have been killed. It wasn't going through my head at the time. I didn't even have time to think about the events that had just occurred, even to be pleased about hitting targets. It was a huge part of my young life, but a very small part of the war going on around me. Just another day at the office. I continued with my drill of looking for more aircraft. There was no backslapping or celebrations from the other lads either. I was tapped on the shoulder, turned around, and there was Mickey Quinn, holding a large mug of steaming hot tea in his hand. "Oh, cheers, Quinny," I said, holding out my hand. "Fuck off, it's not for you," he said, pulling it away and looking daggers at me. "I'm on stag now. Go and make your own bastard brew." Yes, 3-2 Alpha was a generous detachment, and we just got on with it. Quinny was a good lad, a great laugh on a night out, and a good boxer, a junior army champion. He'd been like a bear with a sore ass the last day or so, and we noticed the side of his mouth had swollen up. It turned out he had an abscess under a rotten tooth. It doesn't seem that serious when gauged against people being shot down and blown up all around, but he couldn't do his job properly, and he was hacking Bob and the rest of us off with his whinging. What I am going to tell you now is the sort of thing you hear in the local TA bar when someone starts putting more beer than lemonade in their pint pot. But I was that man. I did witness a Royal Army Medical Corps operation. A medic came up to our position and asked where the casualty was. We told him he was the lad in the trench with the LMG and the gobstopper in his mouth, the lad who was probably going to advise him to go forth and multiply. The medic knew how to break the ice. I watched him wander over and produced a large bottle of whiskey. Quinny smiled for the first time in several days and proceeded to get stuck into it. Suddenly, the whole of 3-2 Alpha had developed a toothache, with chants of "I don't believe you, Quinny," stuck in the armpit of the universe, and you get the finest malt whiskey hand-delivered echoing around our part of the Falklands. His ecstasy soon turned to agony though, as, with the aid of an army right-angled torch and a pair of rusty pliers, the medic ripped the offending tooth straight out of Quinny's gob. It's rumored that the same medic later got a job working freelance for Saddam Hussein's military intelligence. It wasn't all work in the Malvinas. Some days, the sky would be clear, and this pale yellow thing would appear up there. I remember seeing a similar one in England from time to time, but the one down there must have been busted because it didn't give off any heat. You'd get days which were perfect for enemy air activity when the adrenaline would be pumping from first light until last, and nothing happened. Let's get the football out. Oh, we didn't bring one. Never mind, I've got an idea. Where's Ricky? Poor old Ricky. He was the youngest nig and, more to the point, the smallest and the quietest in 3-2 Alpha. So, Benny, Scouse, and I chased our little mascot around, caught him, stripped him naked and staked him to the ground with tent pegs and bungees. We all thought this was highly amusing. Benny ran off, sniggering, and returned with a can of condensed milk, which he proceeded to squirt all over Ricky's bollocks. Look, everyone, Ricky's had a wet dream. I grant you it's not the height of sophistication humor-wise, but it tickled Benny well. It takes all sorts, I suppose. By this time, Ricky was getting a lot of goose pimples and was begging to be released. "In a minute, matey," I said. "Just one last test of your nerves." I jumped in the 1-ton Land Rover and drove it up to Ricky's head, just nudging him with the tire. We got the usual officer-type bollocking. What if we were bumped by the enemy? And that sort of thing. But I think he realized we were just letting off a bit of steam. I detected a slight smile on his lily-white face, a hint of cam cream on his brow, as he daintily tiptoed back downhill to the Milky Bar Ranch. A fine officer, I would have the privilege of meeting again on the same islands 25 years later. That was a rare bit of levity though. Due to the harsh weather conditions, most of our energy was used up in keeping warm and staying alive. We didn't know whether this conflict would go on for weeks, months, or years. It certainly looked as though the government was expecting it to take some time, as it was announced that on June 1st the men of the 5th Infantry Brigade were due to arrive to reinforce us. The good thing was the Gurkhas were part of this force. The general consensus was that once they started lopping heads off with their kukris, the Argies were bound to jack.